seats are down, pillows are in, bags in. Imagine how cool it would be for you and all your mates who can sing, people who you've been in shows with before, all to be getting together and going into like a field and just camping out for the night, having like sing songs around a campfire. Have you seen the state of this car, by the way? Look at all this mess in here. It's just dust from moving house. It's been such a massive year, moving house and coming to this new place, which is awesome, and creating the Cover Coach app, which is coming out soon. I'm working so hard on that, hours every single day, which is kind of part of what's stopped the videos coming out so recently, because all of my effort is going into creating an amazing product to help you guys learn how to create your own fan base online, which I'm so excited for you guys to get started with and get going with, and I think there's so much value there. But which just never seems to, oh my goodness, I'm making an absolute mess now. Right, how do I get these seats up? I'm looking for like some kind of clever mechanical thing to get these things up. You just push them. I feel like I'm gonna go mad if I don't get away somewhere. So when the musical director of the company that I'm with kind of said, hey, come round to mine and let's have a massive buffet, you can come and camp, we're gonna have sing songs and get the piano out and everything else, I was like, this is honestly exactly what I've been waiting for. So I am heading over to the country of Wales today, which is such a beautiful place. It's known for its amazing mountain ranges and lakes and rivers, but it's also known for some pretty windy single track roads where it's like you can only get one car up one way, and if the other car's coming the other way, then you have to reverse down mountains and stuff like that. So that's going to be a bit interesting. Also place names which are in like a different language, which I'm sure is great for Welsh people. I don't speak Welsh, so that's going to be a bit tricky. Couple of filming essentials. I don't know whether I'll definitely use them, but yeah, traveling light, guys. I made an extremely big error. The person whose home I'm going to has given me their postcode, but that postcode in Wales, in rural Wales, it's like, that postcode is like a half-mile size, and it literally tells me nothing about where this person lives. So it's gonna be a bit of an interesting one to see about trying to find this person's house in Wales, where the signposts are in a language that I don't speak. So you know what, we're just gonna have fun. But I really do need to go because I need to be there by 2 o'clock. It is pushing the time where I need to go. So I will see you guys on the road, and I can't wait to get on with what I'm doing today. I can't wait, guys. It's gonna be so cool. Hey, all done. Filthy, but all done. So we have a big problem. Remember I said about that postcode thing being like a whole like half a mile idea? Well, oh dear, hang on, there's a something coming. Hang on, put my phone down a sec. What's this? Put your key in the car, Phil. There's like a tractor, there's a something. I think I might get told off. No? No? Is she upset with me? No, she doesn't seem to be upset with me. Right. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just like causing mayhem in the countryside here. Yeah, I'm trying to find this address. I'm trying to find with the postcode and stuff. And the thing is, though, on the way here, I was on the motorway, and oh no, who is she? Is she what's she do? She got some eggs? No, she's looking at me. No, okay. I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, thank you. People are, you know what? People are actually so kind. I think that's really lovely. Like, she obviously understood that I must be lost. I'm sure we'll find our way without her. That'll be our challenge. Anyway, guys, the point is, on the motorway on the way here, there's like the road between the Wirral into North Wales is just kind of, it's not really fit for purpose. Always breakdowns. There's always crashes and congestion, traffic jams. Needless to say, this was the same. So I'm now running late to get to the house, But equally, I know that the first person to get there is the person who gets to stay in the summer house where you don't have to camp and, you know, you're in there and there's like electric in there and all the rest of it. So I really do want to get there first, so I'm going to make this pretty snappy. This is the kind of road I'm talking about. I mean, look at this thing. It's literally like, it's me and that is it. If I see any car here, I'm going to have to reverse straight back down the mountain. So I've just got out the car because all I can smell is like the sound of like burning hot brakes, and I'm like, you know, it's like I'm trying to brake. I've just come from up there, right? And then I'm heading down there, and of course the whole thing is like just doing so much braking, and the brakes are like just on fire. There's the old car and the old brakes. Some crisp packets and a mask. Got the essentials, and understandably so. Some of you might be thinking, well, Phil, what does it matter if you can smell your brakes and it's like they're getting really hot? Well, the problem is that if the brakes seize up because you're overusing them and they've got too hot, well, they stop working. I do not want my brakes to stop working when I am on a hill going down a single track road. Could meet a car at any moment. That is not what you want when the road you're going down looks like this. Look at this view as well. Look at how cool this is. I absolutely love Wales. I kind of try and come out here as often as I could. I remember when I was a little boy, I would always come out here and just come and see the world and how beautiful it is. But definitely not so much recently. But it's so cool just to kind of be here and just take a break from life. And just know that I'm going to spend some time with friends, and it's going to just be such a cool evening. Okay, I think I've sussed it. I think I've worked out where I actually need to be. So I'm going to make this the last little clip before I kind of get there, but I think I know where I need to be. What I need to do now is get to the house and hopefully snag myself the summer house so I'm not camping in the field. Well guys, I made it! We got here and also first here, so I have banked the summer house. And look at this place, it's like a treasure trove. I just turned the camera around, look at how cool this is. Got some awesome guitars up on the wall and theatre lights, drum sets and like this huge drum thing going on here that I'm sleeping next to. I've set up my bed on the floor. This place honestly is absolutely beautiful. So I'm so glad that I got here. I think what I'm gonna do is go walking. Why on earth not? We've got some amazing grounds around here, so I'm gonna go walking, see some of the sights, and I'll take you guys along with me. So over lockdown, I actually like really got into walking, and back at home, I'm doing like an hour and a half walking every single day. I've got my route that I do every single day, and it's just been like amazing for mental health and sort of getting through lockdown. But the thing is, because of lockdown and because I've kind of like been trapped on the Wirral, I haven't actually had a chance to do any kind of walking apart from, or to sort of like test my new walking skills, apart from doing like a sort of a flat path that I always do. So it's actually been really cool to come out here. I'm actually at, well, if you're English, you say it Mo Fama. I'm sure there's a better way of saying it, but it's a mountain in Wales, and I've just been up it. And one thing that was just really cool was that I know, and I'm just so proud of myself really, because I know that a year and a half ago I was so overweight, and the previous version of me would have really struggled with the whole thing, but I've just like smashed it out. And so just after I shot that clip in the summer house talking about going out for a walk, that was when everybody else arrived. So I have to admit, it's actually the next day that I'm getting out for my walk. But I thought really that I'd just use this opportunity to tell you guys a little bit more about who I am and what I'm all about. So first of all, last night was the best. It was the absolute best. And just to see those people again, and to actually like be able to hug them as well. I mean, it was just so special to be able to do that, and everyone kind of felt the same. It was just a really mad but really amazing thing. And then we had this moment where we were all singing and playing the piano, and the drum kit was out, and we were all like singing songs from the shows that we'd done, like in harmony, and it was awesome. It was literally the best thing I've done since 2019, without a doubt. It's like the best thing that's happened since lockdown began, and I'm so glad that I went along and kind of dealt with that whole drive and not knowing whether I was going to get there on time. And so I started out my career as a primary school teacher in the UK, and as you can imagine with any like teaching job, there's so much paperwork to do, there's so many meetings to have, and I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world if you guys are sort of not in the UK, but in the UK it's kind of like a big deal really that teachers are just so overworked. So what we decided to do was, instead of having staff meetings for one of the weeks, we decided to have what was called a wellbeing week, which is all about just giving the teachers just a moment to not have a break, but like instead of doing a staff meeting, we would do like fun stuff. And one of the fun things that we could choose to do was, and this was in my first year of teaching, a choir leader came in, and she came into school. So instead of staff meeting, we got this choir, and we built a teacher school choir, and it was it was so cool. And I'd actually had a really tough day that day. It was my first year of teaching, and things hadn't quite gone the way that I wanted them to, and I was planning on not even going along to this choir thing, even though I'd grown up loving singing and kind of knowing that I could sing but not really doing anything with it. And my head teacher literally came and fetched me and said, "Phil, this has got your name written all over it, so please come along to the choir." So I went along, and you know what? It was such an amazing experience. And you know, I mean, the other people around me are singing and whatever, and then it came to be my turn. The choir leader kind of wanted like a male to do like a bit of a solo thing, and I didn't know what it was going to sound. Well, I had an idea what I would sound like, but nobody else did. And I'll never forget when I actually opened my mouth to sing, the reaction that I had from my friends. And they were like, "Oh my goodness, Phil, like you are like, you can sing." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of, you know, that's nice." But they were like, "No, like you need to do something with singing." And so this was just before Christmas, so I made a New Year's resolution that I would definitely do some more with my singing. Partly also just to give myself a break from like normal life. That's one thing that's amazing about music. So my deal to myself was to join a choir and get a singing teacher, a proper singing teacher. So I did both of those, and I stuck by it, and it's the only New Year's resolution that I've actually stuck by. But yeah, so I joined this choir, and then also got a singing teacher, and I trained properly with her in how to sing operatically and classically. And just fell in love with the whole idea of singing, and the whole idea of how to create performances, of how to craft performances and create the most amazing sounds with your voice. And because of the training that I'd had, I was then able to go to this choir, and I was able to say, "Hey, you know, can I do a solo?" So the solo was Danny Boy, and it was I will never forget. It's just such a proud moment for me, because I really do sometimes struggle with sort of being confident in my own ability, even though I know it's there. Sometimes, even knowing it's there, sometimes it's difficult to see it in yourself, right? So you can imagine how nervous I was. You know, I'd been practicing Danny Boy in the kitchen at home, but it was like the first rehearsal where I was going to sing it just in a rehearsal to the rest of my choir-y people. And oh man, my legs were just shaking, absolutely shaking. This was the first time I'd ever performed, as in where I'd had training and then I was performing. And it was only as a rehearsal to the choir, but it was still a massive deal. And the music started. and we went through it. And I just sang it. I just sang it the way that I'd been rehearsing it with Mary, my vocal coach, the way that I'd been practicing it in the kitchen. We were rehearsing in a church, and everybody was there at the pews, like basses, tenors, altos, sopranos, and when I finished my solo of this thing, they all stood up and they just erupted. This church erupted with people clapping and cheering, and everyone wanting to shake my hand on the way back. Everyone wanted to shake my hand as I walked back through the church. It was just, I don't know, it was like, this can't be happening to me. This kind of thing doesn't happen to me. The actual day came to properly sing this in front of a paying audience. And I'd gotten so much confidence from the amazing round of applause and cheering that I had from my friends, but I mean, this was different. These were like strangers now. And my whole family turned up to watch me. And it just became like this really big deal. I did the performance and it was great. I was super happy with it. And then a guy came over who happened to be a promoter, and he'd been there watching that day. And he was like, we need to do something with your voice. So he invited me over to his house and trained me then up in, I suppose, how to sell yourself on stage and how to really make a presence on stage. And the reason why I needed that is because he had this really big event coming up. There's like a legend, there's like a legendary figure who sadly passed away in Liverpool, which is the nearest city to me. And the guy's called Ken Dodd, and it was a memorial concert to Ken Dodd. His wife was going to be there, and this promoter was going to stick me on one of the biggest stages in Liverpool, called St George's Hall. Beautiful, amazing building. And he was going to stick me on that stage with a full choir and an orchestra to sing You'll Never Walk Alone, which is a massive, massive song anyway, but it's massive in Liverpool. It's like the anthem of Liverpool. And I was so excited, but also so incredibly nervous. I mean, this was my second ever solo performance, and I'm up there on this huge platform for so many people to see, so many important people to be there. And here I am, only just being trained how to sing myself, not so long ago at this point. Anyway, I worked with Mary on it for months. It was one song, and we worked on it for months because it was like, this has to sound professional. This has to sound actually professional. No one must know that I am so inexperienced at this point. So the pressure was on. And I remember it was like a couple of weeks before the show, and I went round to this promoter's house again, basically to show him what I'd been working on and to show him the progress that I'd made. And oh my goodness, I sounded terrible. I sounded absolutely awful. And it was all because I had a sore throat from teaching all day. It was like being a teacher, of course, as amazing as I feel like that job is, and as much as I love to be there with the children, one of the biggest downsides for a singer when you're also a teacher is that you have to, you spend your whole day sort of using up the reserves that your voice has got. And so by the time the night time comes, you got so little left. This promoter was not impressed at all. I have to say, he was not impressed, and he was like, Phil, come back to me in 2 weeks and show me how much you've been able to turn this thing around. And I knew that I was so much better than what I'd showed him that night, but it was still just such a big kick in the teeth, really, and something to stress me out. However, I kind of went back and fed all of this back to Mary, and she was like, right, so we need to work on exactly how you're going to perform this, even if you're fatigued from teaching. And one of the big things that we worked on was the fact that I was singing too loudly. And because I was singing too loud, this is the lack of experience, because I was singing too loudly on the sort of halfway loud points, the points that should have been like halfway loud, I was like full belting them. She was like, well, you got nowhere to go then for the big moments. So that then also became part of my sort of tuition, and thank goodness that I had a proper professional opera singer teaching me how to do all of this. So the day came, and I'd gone out and I'd bought a suit, and I was ready, I was feeling good, and I turned up at St George's Hall, parked up. I had like special permission to go and park in the car park where no one gets to park. I was like, yes, my name is on that thing because I am on the ticket. Oh, look at the oh, look at the state of this path. I sung that song like I've never sung anything before or since, in terms of the amount of stress that I was like, I need to make this work. This is like my big thing. Stuff like this doesn't come round to people like me, was the way I was thinking about it. Do you know what though? I got to the end of that performance, and at some point I opened my eyes and I looked out at the audience, and the look on their faces as I was coming to the end of that song, they just wanted me. I had them in this place. I had them in a place where they were totally relaxed. They felt totally at ease with the fact that I was doing things with their emotions, and I knew that I just had to nail the end of it. And as I came to the end of the song, you know, I sang my final note, and oh my goodness, the whole of St George's Hall, just, they were out of their seats, they were cheering, they were clapping, and it didn't stop. It just didn't stop. At that point, that was the proudest moment of my life. It was honestly, it was incredible. It was sorry, I'm going uphill now. But it was just so special, so special. And then after the performance, people were coming over to me and they were saying, hey Phil, you know, we want to hear more of you. Like, where can we hear some more of you? And the answer was nowhere. I didn't have a place where I could put my music. I didn't have a place where I could build this fan base that apparently existed. I didn't have anywhere to be able to help them to see more of me and all that kind of stuff. So that was when I started, and the rest is history, guys.